Hi there, it's Douglas, Favro Senior Solutions Engineer.
And I'm Patrick, founder and CEO. As you probably already know, Favro is a platform for planning and collaboration. And one of the typical reasons why teams are going from other tools where you kind of have piles of tickets into the more collaborative approach in Favro is that Favro can simplify quite complex workflows. And today we will look at an example of how you can work with creative work. It can be, for example, a marketing agency doing creative assets. It can be a game developer that are creating art assets. And this could be work both internally, but also we are involving external partners. And you want these external partners to feel like an extension of your team instead of throwing things over the wall. But at the same time, you need to make sure that they don't see things that they shouldn't see. And to make things a bit more complicated, you also have a sign-off process where your creative director or art director or similar needs to have a very simple way to sign things off without necessarily having to think too much about which team has been working on it. So today we will show you two approaches how to set this up. And they will also be using some new capabilities in Favro. So if you're already familiar with Favro since before, there's going to be some news for you here as well. So the first solution, it is more similar to how you might have worked in other tools. So the benefit of this solution is that it's quite intuitive to get into when you're coming from something else, and it's very simple and it works really well with let's say relatively simple pipelines for creating creative pieces of work. And the second solution, as we will show later, it's more powerful and it takes full advantage of the uniqueness of Favro to handle quite sophisticated or complex workflows. But we'll get back to that in a second. So let's start with the first solution.
In the first one, we have a feature development pipeline with a backlog of various user stories. And one of them is here broken down into three different external teams that will be working on it: the front end, design, and testing. If we take a look at the right side of the collection, we can find those three external team boards: front end, design, and QA. Now, all of these four boards are connected with a shared main status that we can see here for this solution. Now, that means that all of them will be following the same workflow. So let's actually go in and choose the front end work and move into progress. We'll see that automatically updating in the backlog. Let's take a look at the design, also move into progress. Again, updating in the backlog. And also let's take a look at the QA testing, also in progress. And you can see all of them moved in the same status. Now, one of the Patrick's mentioned setups was the creative director sign-off. Now, if we take a look at the front end as an example, we have a review stage where we move the card into the review. The card will automatically be added into the creative director review collection, where we can then proceed with either approving or needing additional work. In this case, let's set to approved. The card disappears from the sign-up board. We go back into the development pipeline. And here we can find that the card has been pushed into completed with the review approved tag. And you can also see that completed in the backlog. Now, all of these three teams also have their separate collection where they would be invited and be working in that part only. So they will be able only to see their collection and their board that they have assigned new tasks. So if we go into team one, you can see that front-end work specifically for them. The way this is set up, I would like to point out two things. First things first, as mentioned, the shared main status that you can apply to each of the board from the main status settings on the board menu. The second is automations, where we set up automations to follow up through the progress and apply tags and send out to the sign-off board.
Now let's go into the second solution. And the second solution is very powerful when your workflows, or if you want to call it pipelines, for creative work is a bit more complex. And this is taking advantage of the fact that cards can be in multiple places in Favro. So as we will see here now, when we look at the feature backlog, if we expand that, is that we don't do a breakdown here like you typically do in other tools. So in this solution, we actually have fewer items that we're handling, but we're taking care of it by having set up a more sophisticated workflow for this. So let's have a look.
As Patrick mentioned, here in the backlog, we're not breaking it down into multiple tasks or subtasks. We have the 3 different external teams, similar setup, the front end, design, and QA. But important thing here that you can see all of their workflows are different. In this case, the card is added into 3 different boards at the same time in different stages. So if we take a look at this restore last session, we can see this currently in all of the 3 boards of QA, design, front end, in various different statuses. Now, this is where we focus on having cards in multiple locations at the same time. And with that, we can also utilize the relations feature that allows us to track and see all of that on one board. So we can see the statuses from the front end, design, and the QA boards. And at the same time, we can also track their progress by setting up advanced progress management accordingly to each of the board. And we can see each of the teams' progress regarding this feature. Now, similarly, as in the previous example, we also have 3 different collections for each of the external team that they can focus on their work and not others, and also a creative director board for signups.
So to wrap this up, you get a very nice overview of what's going on by looking here at the backlog, which could be your features or assets or whatever it is that you're working on. So we scroll here to the very right, and we're going to look a little bit extra here at the one called Enable Secure Login. So you will see there that the external team, which is the QA external team, they have completed it. And if we hover over the QA progress there, you will see that, okay, from that workflow, it's going through all its different steps and it's complete. Then if we move to the left, you see the external team that works with design. It's been going through, its steps and it's complete. We continue here left. We have the front end progress. So in that board, those externals, they have done 100% of their steps. So now it's complete. And now we scroll here all the way to the left. And we will see here that when we look at the overall progress, it's taking that progress from those 3 different workflows. So you see it's 100%, 100%, 100%. The total is 100%. And it could, of course, if it would have been lower, if we just hover over the 23% below there, which is the restore, you see that 23% is coming from where it is at the various stages. Now, we're also taking advantage of an automation here now. It's a new automation. So if we just look at Enable Secure Login here again, you will see that is set as complete, which is the overall progress. And that's a new automation where the 100% completion is triggering that to switch to complete. So in this way, you also get a very nice overview as a senior manager, director of what's going on across your internal teams, external teams, and all of this without ending up in like ticket hell. We actually only in our feature asset backlog here have the actual features and assets that we're working on. So hopefully this was a clear demonstration of how you can set this up. You can set this up yourself. You don't need any help from IT or any code. All the pieces that you need are available for you in the tool. Also, you can just contact us and we will help you. That's included in your subscription. And if you need even more help, We have consultant services where we can work together with you to set all of this up in exactly that workflow that you want. Thank you.